So here we are again for another part two. Courting and dating. This will be part 6. In part 1, I talked about similarities and differences with courting and dating, and being on the same vibration as your partner. Part 2 was about oh damn, they didn't upload in order. Oh, that kills me when it does that. Oh well, whatever. Part 2 is family affairs, what to look for and what to avoid. Part 3, children, yours plus theirs equals ours. And part 4 is co-parenting. Part 5 is empaths, narcissists, and energy dynamics in relationships. That's from an energy standpoint. And I feel like I'm supposed to do a little short one. Hopefully it's short, because man, my energy is just being like, this is work for me. This is somewhat draining. But Spirit wants me to do one on codependency. And for the most part, I'm not going to do a whole lot with it. I'm just going to give you the words to Google, give you a place to start, and let you do your own research. Because it just works. It works best that way. When it's your own path, your own experience, then whatever is meant for you will speak to you. And it's up to you to listen and to follow it. And what works for you might not be what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? So we're all beautifully different. So define code. Define codependency. Codependency is excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or addiction. So, if anybody's got any illnesses or addictions, then rest assured that's going to be a codependent relationship. It just is. Excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or addiction. I grew up in a very codependent household. I was married and had children in a codependent partnership, and that part, and then we were codependent also with his parents because we fucking lived with them. And first of all, that is a relationship no. Don't you ever ask somebody to come live with your parents because you can't do it on your own. You make sure you have your own separate place to let your own partner construct a home environment with you that is separate from your parents and your family. I ain't saying you gotta move states away, but at least you need a different house, and you don't need to be next fucking door. I've seen from my own experience and from the experience of others that's just not healthy. When your man can run over to mama's anytime that he ain't get what he wants from you. That's not healthy. When he can't leave her presence, when she finds ways to make it where you and him can't move out or can't start on your own by whatever circumstances she can drum up for you, you may as well just go sign for your divorce and divorce the whole damn thing. I mean, there's been times where I had to tell my ex-husband, hey, you need to let your mom know that she ain't my fucking boss and I was not married to her. And this divorce is not, like, when I divorced you, I most definitely divorced her. Like, check that crazy bitch. You know, that's real. You know, and it is. Freaking, hey, by any textbook definition, let's see that psychological eval. You know. But yeah, don't do that. Don't be in a codependent relationship with your parents and then therefore ask your significant other to be in that codependent relationship with your parents with you. That is just not going to work. It's going to be hell for everybody. They used to have a country saying that you can't have two hens in one hen house. And that is the truth. You just can't. Because you got two different women wanting to establish their home, their version of home, and when they're not on the same vibration, that really conflicts, and there's always an underlying tension in the air. So do yourself a favor and get out from under your parents' wings. Get off your mama's titty. Do what you gotta do to do for yourself. Even if all you got's a little room in a house where you can't have company over night or anything. Do what you gotta do. Don't put somebody through that. And don't be the one to be put through that either. I'm telling you right now, there ain't no relationship worth that. Now, albeit, if you are in a relationship with somebody, something happens to one of the parents, whether it's your parents or their parents, and the parents need to be taken care of, and so one of the decisions you may make is to bring that parent into your home to care for them. That's different. That's different. Okay? That's not the same as what I was just talking about. That's a totally different ballgame. And yeah, it can be just as toxic, but it doesn't have to be. So, yeah. Be careful with that. Be very careful with that. Codependency sucks. And it doesn't work. It never works because somebody's always giving too much and somebody's always taking too much. There's no reciprocation. There's no balance. It's somebody that's emotionally and psychologically dependent on somebody being there. And, you know, codependent can also mean if you have special needs children, you know, they're definitely codependent on their parents or caregivers to do things that they can't do for themselves. That's different as well. And it takes special people to be able to provide that for their children. And then also, if your partner has a child that's special needs, it takes special understanding and care and even sometimes training to understand and to facilitate that and help it to be a healthy space for everyone involved. And it's something that should be taken very seriously. Whether it's a light on this, light spectrum of autism, whether it's a physical disability or it's blindness, a deafness, or whatever it is, or if it's a full-on, cerebral palsy or Down syndrome or whatever. Do your research and do the best for your child and your partners that you can. That's real. So it's not all, it's not all this unhealthy codependency and stuff. There's actually people who are out there that are physically codependent as well as emotionally and psychologically. And it's not like it's not like a healthy person being codependent on somebody else. It's not like an able-bodied person being codependent on somebody else. That's altogether different. It's a whole different thing. So, codependency. Also, Spirit wants me to bring up define independence. The fact or state of being independent. That was not helpful. So independent is free from outside control, not depending on another's authority, not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. That's independent. What you want to be is independent. And what you want to look for in a relationship is someone who matches that vibration, who is also independent, who is free from outside control, like the control of their parents, their family, their friends, their baby mama, their baby daddy, whatever. Not depending on another's authority. And number 2, not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence. Not depending on somebody for a house or a home to live in. Not depending on somebody to pay your bills. Not depending on somebody to help your social life, give you money for going to the theater, the spa, to get your mani-pedi done or whatever. That's be able to do all those things yourself. Be independent. Yeah. Because codependent is not healthy. It's giving your control to somebody else. It's allowing someone else's thoughts, behaviors, and actions declare what you do. Lets it control you. Everything in your life depends on what this other person does. Like, hell the fuck no, it ain't no way to live, y'all. It ain't no way to live. That's not living, that's dying. And that's like, you don't want to live like that. You don't want to die like that. You don't want to be in that. Okay, let's do another one. Define interdependent. Of 2 or more people or things dependent on each other. Let me click on that. Define interdependent relationship. Here we go. Interdependence involves a balance of self and others within the relationship, realizing that both partners are working to be present and meet each other's physical and emotional needs in an appropriate and meaningful ways. That sounds healthy. And then the next thing is how to build a relationship based on interdependence. This is the article that you can attach with it. So let's go back and do that with codependent. See how easy this is to Google? Define codependent relationship. Oh. Okay. Closest thing we got right here real quick is 10 signs you may be in a codependent relationship. Oh, here we go. Codependency is a term usually associated with the partners of alcoholics, but it can apply to almost anyone. It's just that addicts, people that take, and codependents, people that base their self-worth on their ability to give and give, are drawn together like magnets. See, that's what I was talking about with my mom and dad. My dad was an alcoholic, an addict, and a narcissist. That an addict will just take, right? And codependents are people that base their self-worth on their ability to give and give and give. And that's exactly what my mother did. Her self-worth was based on how much she could give, how much love she could give, like she could love him out, like she could love him into loving himself. But he never could see that he was lovable. And they're drawn together like magnets. Well, it makes sense. One wants to give and one wants to take. One gets their self-worth out of giving because that's the martyr syndrome of Christianity. Oh, give, give, give. And addicts just take just to fill themselves. Which is unfortunate because no one can give all the time with getting anything. Which is unfortunate because no one can give all the time without getting anything back. And addicts will never be forced to confront their own issues if there's always someone there fixing everything for them. Codependents often develop their own substance abuse problem just from the sheer exhaustion and stress that naturally comes from a relationship with someone addicted to alcohol, drugs, gambling, sex, or themselves. I surely did. It took a whole lot of weed. And when I would quit smoking, I would lose my damn mind, start speaking the truth again. Then he'd be like, I think you need to start smoking again. I can't handle you when you're not smoking. It's because the smoking just helped me dumb down what I was feeling. Smoking weed. You know, and then whenever that wasn't enough, I start trying to drink some Baileys in my hot chocolate. And start adding a little alcohol to it. And I couldn't function running a house, running a farm and a homeschool and raising 3 children. I couldn't do all that intoxicated like that. So I had to quit and just go right back to smoking. And it was frustrating. Relationships are hard, man. And there's going to be a natural ebb and flow in even the best partnerships. But if you feel like you're ebbing all the time and you're banging your head on the wall trying to figure out how to make it flow again, all the while being frustrated that your partner doesn't seem to care as much as you do, you might be a codependent. Here are the top 10 signs of codependency. Number 1, people pleasing. Codependents go above and beyond to make people happy. They'll think nothing of accepting last-minute requests like baking dozens of cookies for the bake sale tomorrow And even if they feel resentful about it, they'll never admit it. Number 2, sacrifice. They take a lot of pride in their willingness and ability to sacrifice what they want for what they feel others need. They hope it will all even out in the end. Number 3, poor boundaries. Saying no to someone is incredibly difficult for a codependent. They let people take advantage of them and usually don't even know they're doing it because they're givers and they like being givers. Number 4, self-worth defined by others. They need others to tell them they're doing a good job before they can feel good about their accomplishments. They doubt their thoughts, words, actions, and deeds until they feel sufficiently validated by outside sources. Number 5, crippling fear of rejection. Nobody likes rejection. Codependents fear it to the point where they avoid it at all costs. 6, control freak. With all the emotional ups and downs of allowing others to validate their existence, codependents like controlling what they can. Taking credit. Because codependents enjoy making others happy so much, they take credit for other people's emotions. The downside to this is that they feel like it's also their fault when people are sad or angry. They don't grasp the concept that they are only responsible for what they say and do, not for how others react to it. Number 8, they are highly reactive. Speaking of reactivity, because they take credit for other people's emotions, they don't take credit for their own. So if someone says something that upsets them, then it must be a personal attack, and zoom! Why doesn't that person like me? Number 9, lacking communication skills. No one can give everything all the time. So codependents don't ask questions or clarify requests because they fear disappointing someone if they have to disagree or say no. They reason that it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Number 10, they put relationships above themselves. They have no concept of self-care or putting their own oxygen masks on first. They wear themselves out in dysfunctional relationships because the relationship must be saved at all costs. They feel selfish if they take care of themselves, so they don't. Do you recognize yourself in any of these signs? Have you managed to overcome any of them? For me, the answer is yes and yes. Yes, I recognize myself in all of those signs. And yes, I have managed to overcome damn near all of them. Or at least all of them to a certain degree. There's a few that need some more work. But at least I can see that and admit that. You know, just going over, it's like, oh yeah. You know? And it's like, oh wow. You know, you can have a codependent relationship with your work. With your job. I kind of been doing that with my job here lately. Like knowing that I need to move on and do what's right for me and be making myself a healthier income. But at the same time, putting the people that I love and care about and work with first, above myself. Now, albeit I have changed my schedule and added self-care on my days off, and I have less hours and actually a weekend off because I work weekends, so one weekend off a month. It hits my fucking pocket, but by God, I need it. I need it physically. You know, I need it to like go do things that Mary Todd wants to do. You know? Like take myself out to a concert and go get my nails done, and they're undone right now. Look what work done to them. Actually, the polish has actually helped protect my fingernails, my natural nails. So I'm going to continue doing that, like every 3 weeks, part of my self-care regimen. You know, that's not bad. Every 3 weeks, not a bad idea. Plus, you know, if I'm shuffling cards, it just looks better on a YouTube video. Right now, it looks like shit. I've got to call and make an appointment. But yeah, just it's so uncomfortable here. I had to readjust myself, sitting in awkward positions. Oh, I still got some pink left in that. It ain't hot water, but it'll flavor the water a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, just ponder. You know, do your research. I just did it with you. Oops. That's my cover. It's still cold enough up here, you just can't go around braless. So I use the little inserts from my sports bra. But yeah, you know, I just went through it with you. It's easy. How easy was that? We said divine codependent relationship. And that popped up. 10 signs you're in a codependent relationship, or that you're codependent. We read it, observed it, said, wow, excuse me, I can relate to this. This sounds just like me. Or wow, that just sounds just like my parent, you know. Or oh, that sounds like the people that raised me. Or oh, that sounds like my friend, you know. Because not everybody's codependent. Not everybody's had to be raised with an alcoholic addict. You know? And thank God for that. Thank God for that. There ain't nothing like being the adult child of an alcoholic. That's a real thing, y'all. And they've got special programs for us. Because I am an adult child of an alcoholic. My children are becoming adult children of alcoholics, of an alcoholic. I wasn't an alcoholic, and the only time I use is whenever I keep giving, and I don't have the strength. So I just smoke weed so I can have the strength to shoulder through and just numb myself to what I'm feeling or not feeling, and just shoulder on through it. That's how I got through October in Salem in the food service industry. And my body was like falling apart. By the time October was over, I was about dead. And my body's let me know, hey honey, you're not doing that this year. You're phasing out. So, I have an announcement to make to my work family. I'll be here for a little while longer, but this is my out date. This is going to be my last weekend, this one right here. And that gives them time to hire a few more people on. And that way nobody gets stressed out. I don't leave my work family in dire straits. And yeah. Because that's like my main concern. I love these people and I don't want to make their lives any harder than they already are. Between juggling family life, being pregnant, going to school, we come from all walks of life, and we're all the most beautiful bunch of weirdos, I love my work family. So, yeah. And, yeah, so just do like I just showed you. Do your research. Find out. And do that with domestic violence as well. What does domestic violence look like in a relationship? Red flags in relationships. Red flags in relationships, they'll give you all different sorts of kind of answers, because there's so many different groupings of red flags. There's like your domestic violence red flags. There's your narcissistic empath red flags. There's your codependency red flags. And you can heal your codependency. And it comes from a sheer determination to stop giving and to learn how to receive. And that has been one of the most challenging things for me in my life, is to learn how to receive, because I've always been taught to give. Yeah, 29, 30 minutes. Okay, wow, I can't believe we made 30 minutes on that. I was surprised. I thought it was like going to be a 10, 15 minute thing where I talk a little bit, say go do your own research, and that'd be it. So we actually got into it. It went well. But yeah, go do your research. Go heal yourself. They've got programs. They've got online study groups. They've got online support groups. They've got anything you could possibly need for support out there. And a lot of it's free. YouTube is free as fuck. A lot of this information is free. And I tell you what, if you're working yourself up out of codependency and you need it to be free for a while, that's cool. But once you get to the point where you can afford to pay for services and pay for help, do so. It's a very, very worthy investment in yourself, in your self-care, in your self-love, into your self-worth. When you work with professionals like one-on-one and stuff, or life coaches, or whatever, do it. I highly recommend it. Even if you're like in a collective group, I've been parts of groups on Patreon, like where we have a life coach and she's coaching all of us at the same time. It's a collective. It's like a small group online, and especially since COVID and all that, it's made it so much more out there. That there's so much more out there online that even if you don't have a group where you're at, you can always look. And honestly, if you just start looking online, codependency groups near me, domestic violence groups near me, survivors of domestic violence groups near me, it will pop up. It'll pop up different things. But if you're in like a really rural area and you've got Wi-Fi or internet, you will be okay. You can do it with the internet. Because it's a lot harder in rural places to find that stuff. We didn't have stuff like that where I was from. We were just starting to get it because one of the amazing ladies in our county had stepped up and decided to make that available because she had been through it. She had been through a severely domestic violence situation, and so she had a shelter. She worked with one of the churches to make a shelter, and then she had like a day center where people could get resources and help, give donations, and help single moms out in the county and stuff, different things. It was amazing. It was certainly amazing. I'm not sure if it's still running or not. There was a lot of people trying to shut her down, which is really fucked up. Yeah, they got a new preacher at the church because of a whole scandal thing, and it was good that I missed church that Sunday. I was making breakfast for some boys that just needed some love after a drunken birthday brawl. So like a big party. So I was off ministering love and missed that whole thing. And thank God I did, I suppose. I don't know. Because if I had been there, I would have stood up and gave them people the what for. Like, hello, if this person's family and the other person involved's family has forgiven them and they're all moving on, then who are you to say that they're not qualified to run the fucking very thing that they set up to help people? Like, who are you, you beady-eyed little son of a bitch? Get your devil ass out of that church. Oh, they hate it when I come back home to my home church. I'm on the anniversary of my baptism. it was very supernatural and very amazing and very beautiful and wonderful. And that's like an experience that can't none of them son of a bitches take away from me. They just mad because they didn't experience it. When you get baptized in the dove of the Holy Spirit lights on you, then the rest of them that ain't had that experience get mad as hell. That's just who I am. It's who I'm created to be. Whatever. It's not my problem what your reaction or your feelings is about it. Fuck you. I'm me. I'm gonna be me. So anyway, yeah, 35 minutes. And that's the bit on codependency. So yeah, there we go. That's the end of part 5. Do your research, heal yourself, get the help you need, work through this, and start attracting people who are healthy and on your vibration. And be blessed in your search, and your journey for yourself. Damn, some Mercury retrograde got me all tongue-tied. So that's it.